What's going on, my people, and welcome back to Israq's Movie Reviews. Today we're going to be discussing Spider-Man No Way. Nah, I'm playing. Today we're going to be discussing Spider-Man Homecoming. This was a great film, and we're going to start off by celebrating. This is Spider-Man week. Tomorrow, we're going to go check out Spider-Man No Way Home in the theaters, and look out for that review after this one. But yeah, we get to this iteration of Spider-Man where we get introduced to Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. And this was a very entertaining film. It was a very entertaining entry into the Marvel Universe. And this one has Peter Parker trying to find a balance between high school and wanting to join the Avengers, as he was introduced in Captain America Civil War. While all of this is going on, we introduced to Michael Keaton's character, the Vulture, which is one hell of a character. If you're gonna put a villain in a movie, trust me, Michael Keaton was a perfect fit for this role. Basically, what he does in this movie is he's creating some high-tech and dangerous weapons to sell on the streets, and he's getting these weapons through the destruction of what happened in the original Avengers movie back in 2012. You remember when everything got destroyed in Manhattan and in the city? Well, he's taking a lot of those key instruments from the Avengers Tower and the aliens that came down in that movie. You remember they came with weapons and stuff like that. So what he does is he salvages these weapons, he puts them in the black market, and he sells them. And through this technology, he actually builds himself a suit. And when he uses it, he actually looks like a vulture. And, that's how he gets his name. Spider-Man Homecoming, I think this movie was perfectly titled as well. It seemed to get a lot of mixed reviews. But I personally thought it was very entertaining. In fact, I thought it was much better than Wonder Woman, which came out around the same time. Even though I thought Wonder Woman was a top-notch film. But this was an amazing third reboot of the series, going back to the Sam Raimi films and then the Mark Webb films. I like the way they pulled the story off. You have this Spider-Man trying to come to his own. He's living with a sexy Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei. And, he has these best friends. MJ, who I guess takes the place of the original Mary Jane. She's basically his love interest in this. And that doesn't come to fruition until the second movie, which we'll go over after this review. And he has a best friend named Ned, who in the comics becomes Hobgoblin. But in this iteration, as of right now, there's no sign of it. Maybe in No Way Home, but we'll leave that for a later review. As I stated before, the performances here really help make the film as entertaining as it is. The performance by Holland was excellent. I thought he was perfect during the scenes that he was in as the character Peter Parker. The only knock is, unlike the original had practical effects. This one doesn't really have those effects. Tom Holland, when he's Spider-Man, it's mostly CGI, which for me was kind of a downfall. But it didn't affect the movie. He's a nerd. He's conflicted with various emotions in this, which was cool. The only thing, too, in this movie, you see him fleshed out, right? But they don't necessarily give him an origin story, which in both ways is a negative and positive, because you reintroducing this character into the universe, but you lacking certain things. You don't really get to hear the famous phrase. You don't get to really know about Uncle Ben, so you could tell that he probably lost them maybe months prior to Civil War, but they don't really make mention of it. You don't see a flashback scene. Even though Michael Keaton was perfectly played as the villain, you also have assistants in this movie. Robert Downey Jr., he could sleepwalk through this role. He plays Tony Stark in this movie, and you know, he's the mentor version. He's fun. So is John Favreau in this part as Happy. Donald Glover makes a cameo. And my problem with that cameo and with the series in general is he makes a cameo as the Prowler, right? And they make, basically, it's like an Easter egg. Towards the middle ending of the movie, he mentions on a deleted scene Miles. He calls Miles to help him get out of a situation. So you know Miles Morales is in this universe. But throughout these movies, maybe in No Way Home, maybe we get another mention. They don't show him or mention him. There's also, besides Vulture, we have the Tinkerer here, who helps the Vulture with his weapons. We have Bokeem Woodbine as another bad guy. He's basically the Shocker. That villain in this movie is not even secondary. He's more of a third, fourth. But the story doesn't lag. The movie's paced out well. The action scenes are highly exciting. I think the CGI is perfect. I'm not a big CGI fan, but there's no question that it mixes in perfectly well with the rest of the footage in the movie. I'd also argue that the story itself was quite good in regards to everything going wrong in Peter Parker's life, personal life. And I thought the screenplay was perfect. It tried to balance everything. Technically, the film was great. It was a pretty good movie, especially as an introduction into this new universe, going from Sony into Marvel. So Spiderman Homecoming is definitely highly recommended. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. And I look forward to talking about the sequel to this. If you like this video, please hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and don't forget, subscribe to the next one. Peace.